Bhagavaram Samma Sambuddho Smagatoina Bhagavata Dhammo Supatipanno Yasa Bhagavato Savete Sangho Dhammayam Bhagavanta Sadhamman Sasana Ime Sagari Yataraham Arupite Abhipujayama Sadhuno Bante Bhagava Sujira Bharini Bhutopi Pajima Janata Nugamba Manasa Ime Sakare Dugata Panaka Rangute Patitanatu Amadandi Garata Etaya Sukaya Aram Samma Sambuddho Bhagavan Buddhan Bhagavantan Abhivadi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhamman Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sannam Namami Mayam Buddhasa Bhagavato Papaganama Karandaro Mase Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So, very good, very nice to see everyone. So please now everyone here and everyone online, compose yourselves, sit up nicely, and remember you must try to remain absolutely still throughout the evening. So good posture. Cameras on, please, so I can keep my beady eye on you. And everyone sit up well, body and mind alert. And we'll commence as usual by bringing to mind the Buddha, recollecting our great teacher and example, and reminding ourselves of his perfect mind, a mind that was quite clear of, cleansed of all corruption and defilement, and even far distant, far away from anything of that kind. any form of greed, hatred, or delusion. His was a mind, too, of infinite compassion. A quite incredible and remarkable being, perfect in knowledge and conduct. Now, when you recollect the Buddha or happen to see a Buddha Rupa, remember that perfect mind. Remember that example and be inspired to cultivate your mind too and cleanse your mind as well of all greed, hatred, and delusion. And remember that this is a great favor that you're doing yourself. Remember to be kind then to yourself and caring of yourself. Which doesn't mean, of course, failing to take the bitter medicine when it's needed. And celebrate your good qualities. Remind yourselves of those. And be accepting of things as they are, at least for now. And if you can, be kind and caring of others. Celebrate their good qualities. Appreciate them. And be accepting too. Now let's take a moment to remind ourselves yet again of our human condition. Life hath but one direction, and time's its only measure, which means we're all getting older and older. It's a one-way street, and there's no turning back. And at any time, any moment, practically, we can catch something, some unknown part of our body can go wrong, or even we could meet with an accident. It's a precarious existence. And then sooner or later, we die. We're all under sentence of death. And we have to face all of this and come to terms with it. This is the nature of our human condition. and it can't be helped. We can do nothing about it, but we can do a great deal about our relationship to it, our understanding of it, our understanding of the nature of things. So let's get on with that now. Quite deliberately gather and concentrate your mind. And direct your attention to your body. Be aware of, be mindful and aware of your physical presence and the way that you are sitting. Be mindful of where your right leg is, your left leg is, your hands, your arms, your back, shoulders, head. And become aware of your breathing. That feeling, that sensation as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And keep your attention just on that slight movement, that slight sensation, that breathing in, that breathing out. Stay absolutely still, your mind just resting on that knowledge of the breath coming in and the breath going out. And remember to deal with any wandering of your mind, any arising of any of the hindrances. Whenever you notice your mind off somewhere else, or listening to something, or worrying about some ache or pain, or pay attention. Pay attention to what you're knowing, experiencing. And let it go. Don't look for movements of your mind. Try to keep your mind concentrated just on the breath. But if or when your mind wanders or there's an interruption, then pay attention, know it, and let it go. So please try to keep to your very good, very still and silent sitting posture. No need to move or do anything except to pay attention, and while I'm talking, simply to listen. The Buddha taught for a very long time, really and truly, 45 years. And he met a huge cross-section of the population at the time and talked to all sorts of people, especially, of course, those who wanted to be taught, who were willing to learn. And he had the ability, of course, to know the minds of those he was talking to and adapt his teaching to suit them. So we have a vast array of teachings, which, of course, when we examine them, are all linked and all taking us in the same direction. Most well known, understandably, is the teaching of the first sermon, and especially because the Buddha repeated that teaching in various ways all through his life. He was remarkably consistent in his approach. Now, in that first sermon, the Buddha refers to a middle way. And Buddhism now is well known for the concept of the middle way. And it's an important teaching of the Buddha. But we have to be careful of it too, because, sorry, time and time again, we hear it cited as an excuse for doing very little or not really doing enough. The Buddha spoke about a middle way between extremes, and he referred to the extremes that he'd known, the extremes of pleasure, unrestrained pleasure. He'd been a prince, he'd been very privileged and wealthy, and what had he to do with himself but take his pleasure? And then he went to the other extreme. When he went off in search of, I suppose, didn't quite know what, he tried all sorts of quite bizarre and awful practices, living like an animal, feeding on excrement, and then starving himself. Horrible things he did, really. A terrible extreme to somehow subjugate his mind and his desires and find a truth. And of course, neither of those extremes brought any good results. It was only when he found a middle way. Now, people are tempted to think of of a middle way as being a pretty easy way, I'm afraid. It's understandable. One of our desires, our principal desire, is for comfort, for pleasure and for comfort. And so when very often people approaching meditation want to be comfortable, to sit in a comfortable way, as comfortable as possible. I never tire of pointing out to them that, well, yes, even the most luxurious of armchairs, if you sit in it for long enough, will become uncomfortable. You'll find you'll want to move. There's no support for your body. And so little aches and pains appear here and there, and you find yourself moving about. We can't escape the difficulties of life, the discomforts. Rather, we should use them. And we certainly should be careful about trying to use the middle way, the concept of the middle way, as an excuse for not really trying or facing up to suffering. What was the middle way the Buddha taught? What did he describe as the middle way? The Noble Eightfold Path. And his teaching, of course, is quite demanding. The ethics contained in that Noble Eightfold Path put us on the spot, and very often can be quite difficult. We face a difficult choice. Now, some people, perhaps in business, perhaps in, I don't know what kind of profession, but will find themselves thinking that if they do the honest thing, then they might lose their job or not be promoted or not make as much money as they could. And so they think they'll take the middle way. And what they mean is they'll compromise their integrity. They'll compromise on their precepts and morality. But that isn't the middle way. The middle way puts demands on us. The middle way is the Noble Eightfold Path. And it contains effort, right effort. And over again, in the Buddha's teachings, he speaks about making an effort, bringing energy into what you're doing, really trying. Because you see, we're going against our kilesa, our defilements. That's what we have to do. We have to deal with them somehow. And part of the practice is to go against them, as well as observing them and understanding them. Making an effort to practice right speech, right action, right livelihood is going against. You will find yourself over and over again, challenging your desire to have your own way. There you have kilesa, defilements. That desire to do as you want to do, to have your own way. To have your own way, Never mind what trouble it might bring upon other people. Never mind whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing. When you practice the Buddha's middle way, you will have to challenge yourself and challenge those unfortunate but very often quite natural tendencies, habits that we are deeply ingrained within us. But you have to do it because you won't get better otherwise. And the whole point of this is to get better, to be a better person, to conduct our lives in such a way that we are at ease, that we're not troubled by remorse and criticism and unpleasantness. So that at the very least, we're living a good life. And even, to an extent, a happy life. Buddhist teaching and practice aims to make things better for us in this life, in the next, and of course beyond, to take us out of the realm of birth and death and suffering. It's a marvelous and exciting journey, but it puts demands on you. And you have to try. You have to make an effort. And again to pick yourself up when things have gone wrong and have another go. But what's the alternative? To just stay in the same old rut and be frustrated and discontented and have no purpose to your life, no real purpose. Better to do your best to live life well and with a real purpose. And the middle way, the Buddha's middle way, the Noble Eightfold Path, offers you all that and more, because it's the way to end suffering. It's the way to overcome your craving. It's the way to an ultimate and lasting freedom. And there it is. You look at each step of that Noble Eightfold Path, and it really isn't that difficult. But still you have to make an effort, because the old habits will, given a chance, come back, take you aside, take you astray. So you have to watch yourself. And an important part of this practice is just that, watching yourself, watching your mind, watching your tendencies. Keeping those precepts will highlight from time to time your desire to do something or other, to go against the precept. You want to do something. Bang, you walk into the precept. Wakes you up. You see what you're going to do, what your desire is. You stop. You don't go down that path anymore. You're making changes, taking yourself in another direction. Still from time to time, bang, you walk into a precept. You need to be patient, determined, and have great confidence in this path. It's the best way for you to live. So please learn it, remember it, practice it, make it an essential part of your life for your own sake and for the happiness and welfare of everyone you have anything to do with. And that's enough from me for tonight. And we'll sit for just a minute or two longer, or a moment or two longer. And please, as usual, bring to mind loving kindness, metta, loving kindness for yourself and for everyone. May you and all beings be well and happy. May you and all beings be free from all suffering. May you and all beings realize for yourselves the secure peace of Nibbana. Arahant Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swagato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhamman Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. So thank you all very much for coming. I hope you have a good weekend and we'll meet again soon. Good night.